The Nsawam medium security prison was built to hold 717, but currently holds 3,100 inmates. The 6 blocks are choked with remand and convicted prisoners. As of December 2009, the 3,100 inmate population includes 1,652 remand prisoners. The remand prisoners constitute about 54% of the total lockup. 1,117 have been convicted, 80 inmates condemned to death with 82 inmates, 7 life imprisonment. Scenes from Block 1, which holds suspected armed robbers, tells the entire congestion story.
Now, this is how bad the situation is. This is Block 1. A small cell which is supposed to take about 14 people now has about 45 inmates. As you can see, the inmates are practically lying on each other.
There is no space to turn over, and an inmate has no choice of turning or stretching after lockup time from 5 p.m. to 6 o'clock the next morning. Congestion here has been worsened by the closure of the James Ford prison in Accra, which led to the transfer of 996 inmates to the Nsawam facility.
The evacuation exercise was a great success. Over here, high humidity, excessive heat was the order of the day. But the question is, would you create another problem whilst attempting to solve one?
To ease the plight of inmates at Nsawam, short-term prisoners plus well-behaved inmates who have almost completed serving their sentences were transferred to the Ankafo Main and Kumasi Central prisons. This is the visitors' room of the Nsawam prisons. Visitors are allowed 10 minutes. They are allowed to bring meals or raw foodstuffs for relatives incarcerated here. Although the entire prison is surrounded by a 20-foot high wall topped with barbed wire, this has not dissuaded inmates from attempting to scale the wall. 28 out of 67 escaped prisoners of 2008 were recaptured. The 6-ward infirmary at the Nsawam medium security prisons had scores of bedridden inmates. It records an average of 100 cases daily. A laboratory, theatre and recovery room complement infirmary service. Chief Superintendent Edward Menu, medical officer at the Nsawam prisons, said acquisition of drugs for inmates remains yet another challenge at the prison. Still in the eastern region, this is the Kodia prisons, built in 1946 as an abandoned World War II magazine depot converted into a prison. The facility that first housed 60 inmates has been expanded and now has 400 inmates. But this large catchment area, which spans Suhum Krabwa Kota, Afram Plains, East Achim, Yellow Krobo, Fantiakwa and Kwau districts, means inmate population fluctuates between 500 and 550. Currently, the 19 cells built to hold up to 20 people each now have 75 each, compelling inmates to sleep on the floor.
This is the sad story of 117 people who have been left here on remand. The facts are that some of these people here may be innocent, and all they're asking for is that give us a fair trial. If we are found guilty, we will serve our term. And then now, yeah.
Suspect murder. Tell me, no, court crime in Kubi. 5 years in the
media me call Chroma Meba and I job by 9 o'clock. And Timeba no, Yaquan, the Koyafino, and I'm Tessa by you be a come a woman. Intimidate me car me call honum, not Makwa on Monsa. Intimidu honum them who say, boy be able to quire an old honum, and I'm a call him Rashi call honum. And to get no so cool for your coca say attack your more coins into on by an ameneno and agent honum. On by a number to gumi so. No more bomb suspect robbing.
Now to the Ashanti region.
You are welcome to Kumasi Central Prisons. I'm DSP Collins, Asante Agbopa. All the prisons have been local, but I want you to enter the area and see what happens after 5:30.
The Kumasi Central Prison, built in 1860, was reconstructed in 1925 to create more cells for the increasing number of inmates. Originally built to hold 600 inmates, the Kumasi Central Prison now has 1,687 inmates held in 4 blocks. This facility holds 1,264 convicted prisoners, 26 on life imprisonment, 294 on remand, 56 foreigners, 33 on trial, and 14 on death row.
This is the most dreaded, the condemned cells. Currently, 14 inmates here have been condemned to die.
Like other prison facilities in the country, this prison is suffering from the overcrowding crisis, leaving inmates with no alternative but to sleep in turns.
And then I had pie, doing many is we breathe tenacity, we brand tenacia, intimida. If we begin a honor, some will begin our crown, we are tenacity. With a tenacia crown, we are solid. And then with the crown, we are solid, and we see a sound with that. Tiabasa Tembiani, Hotel.
To pass the time, inmates resort to painting the walls, which they intimate tells the story of discriminatory justice. Water is a problem here. These plastic buckets are waiting to be filled with water, which will be used for drinking, washing, and bathing in these makeshift bathhouses for male inmates. These are the lavatories for inmates. These night officers have just arrived to take up post. A fall-in parade for officers is held every night to ensure that officers report for duty. After that, all doors are checked and secured. The total lockup figures are also checked before the night officers take up post. Then to the Volta region. At the time of our visit, the whole prison under the command of Assistant Director of Prisons, Alasan Legibo, had 460 inmates. 349 are convicted, while 111 are on remand. Cells built for 20 people now take up to 80 inmates, compelling some to sleep on the water closets. Inmates sleep on the bare floor, arranging themselves in a manner to creatively use up the little space in the cells. Skin diseases are common here, and reports say a recent chickenpox outbreak in the prison affected most of the inmates as well as officers.
Ventilation becomes one of the bigger problems we are facing. You can see, as you can see, we have only 6 holes, one on the left-hand side and with the door at the entrance. So sometimes, as we just said, we have to struggle out to go and unite. If somebody is running, you have to be stepping on each other's toes, sometimes on the brocos. Some of us are having hernias.
Here too, inmates on remand reiterated their call to be tried or freed. We now head towards the central region. The Ankafu main camp prison, established in December 1945, was built to train inmates in agriculture, and only prisoners with low sentences and good conduct are incarcerated here. The fenceless facility was built to hold 300, but now holds up to 800 inmates.
The interesting thing about the Ankafu main prison is that it has no gates, and of course it has only barbed wires instead of thick and high walls surrounding the main prison.
Anytime they put gate in the night, something comes to remove it. So they believe in these our superstitious things. That is why the gate is not there.
The Ankafu Contagious Disease Prison, CDP, is the only facility that takes care of prisoners who are medically certified as suffering from contagious diseases like TB and leprosy. Prisoners are transferred from across the country irrespective of their sentences to receive medical attention here. The CDP, with its serene atmosphere and wide open space, is paradise compared to cramped conditions in other prisons. We now trek to the north. The Tamale prison in the northern region was built in 1955 by the colonial masters. The prison has 11 cells for convicts and 6 for remand. Originally built to hold 90, the Tamale prison now holds up to 300 prisoners. As of October 2009, the male prison had 95 remand cases and 153 male convicts.
These are somewhat shocking realities in Ghana's jailhouses. In the next part report, we talk to government agencies and administrators of the criminal justice system for some candid answers. Come with me.